Prime Minister Justin Trudeau will reportedly apologize for the historic discrimination against gay Canadians as early as this fall. The Globe and Mail reports Trudeau will apologize to gay Canadians who were jailed, fired, or otherwise persecuted. The government will reportedly act on a report presented in June by the advocacy group Xtra. The Prime Minister's office will only say that the government is reviewing the report committed to ending discrimination. Last month, Trudeau became the first sitting Canadian Prime Minister to march in Toronto's Pride Parade. And Arshy Mann is a reporter with gay and lesbian news agency Daily Xtra. He joins us now from our downtown studio. What's your reaction?
Well, I think this is something that we've been expecting for a little while now. The Globe and Mail, John Ibbitson at the Globe and Mail has been reporting for a few months about the government looking towards actually making restitution for people who were jailed, for people who were fired from the public service, for people who were kicked out of the military because of their sexual orientation and because of consensual sexual acts. And I think for a lot of people, especially those folks who are still alive who had to endure this, or for people whose relatives, their relatives had to endure this, they've been waiting a long time for this kind of acknowledgement from the government.
Yeah, and you spoke with Trudeau prior to this year's Toronto Pride Parade and had the chance to ask him about this potential for a kind of apology. What did he say?
That's right. When we spoke to the Prime Minister, he acknowledged that the state absolutely needs to do something along these lines, to make an apology or to find some way to acknowledge that what the government did to all these folks was wrong. He did not, however, say what form that would take, whether it would be an apology from the floor of the House of Commons like we saw with his apology for the Kamagatu Maru incident, or whether they'll follow the lead of countries like Germany, which just this year not only vacated the convictions of people under a similar law, but also promised to provide compensation for them. So right now we still don't have the exact details of what that's going to look like. We just know that the government is definitely leaning towards doing something, making a public acknowledgement.
Right, and should the move go forward with this apology, how do you think people are going to react? How momentous would that be?
I think it would be an important step forward, but it also depends on what the government decides to do and on how, on the scope of what they bring forward. So initial reports a few months ago were saying they would only apologize for people who were convicted before 1969. But a lot of people were convicted under similar laws even afterwards. So I think if they stuck to that line, some people would be pretty upset. The other issue is there are still a number of laws in the books that are quite homophobic in nature, that stem from these similar laws that we're talking about. So, for instance, the age of consent for anal sex is 18 versus vaginal sex, which is 16. And so if the government doesn't actually make changes to those kinds of laws as well, I think people will be disappointed.
All right, Daily Xtra reporter Arshy Mann joining us. Thanks so much, Arshy.
Thank you.